The average adult forgets 3 things a day: where they put their keys, what they walked into a room for, or whether they already shampooed their hair. That's over 1,000 mental blackouts a year. And no, it's not just getting older. It's your daily habits training your brain to forget. You're not broken. You're just running modern life on brain settings that were never meant for this kind of overstimulation. And the scary part? The habits that are wrecking your memory look like productivity. Today, we're unpacking 3 common behaviors that are quietly sabotaging your focus and recall, and one small mental switch that could change the way you think, literally. When doing more makes you remember less, you've probably done this. Spent hours watching productive content, motivational TikToks, how to optimize your morning routine, YouTube videos, or a podcast about 5 ways to unlock your potential, only to finish and instantly forget everything you just consumed. Welcome to the memory black hole of modern life. You are not alone. Researchers say the average person consumes over 34 gigabytes of information per day, enough to overload even the most powerful computer. No wonder your brain feels like it's running on 2% battery all the time. This isn't just about forgetfulness. It's the side effect of living in the attention economy, where apps, platforms, and content creators are literally competing for your focus and winning. Psychologists call it cognitive overload, when your working memory gets flooded with so much input that it can't transfer anything meaningful into long-term storage. It's like trying to download a movie while streaming 5 others and playing Fortnite at the same time. Your bandwidth is maxed out, so nothing loads properly. And here's the wild part: you don't even notice it happening. Scrolling feels good. Binge learning feels productive. You think you're growing, but in reality, your brain is just skimming the surface of 1,000 things, unable to absorb or retain much of anything. It's the cruel irony of self-improvement in 2025. The more we chase information, the less we actually remember. The more content you consume without stopping to reflect, the worse your memory gets. It feels like progress because you're busy learning, but it's fake productivity. The real flex? Learning less, but learning deeply. We've been sold this idea that knowledge is power, but psychologists will tell you that's only true if the knowledge sticks. Without reflection, repetition, and application, information just evaporates. It's called the forgetting curve, a concept from cognitive psychology that shows we forget about 70% of new information within 24 hours unless we actively work to retain it. Brutal, right? Your brain is lazy on purpose. It was designed to conserve energy by forgetting things that seem unimportant. In an era where you flood it with random facts, hot takes, and endless how to change your life content, your brain shrugs and says, "Nah, we're not keeping any of this." Consuming knowledge passively doesn't equal learning. It equals entertainment. You're not failing because you can't retain everything you hear or read. You're failing because no one told you that retention requires friction. Writing things down, teaching it to someone else, even just stopping and thinking about what you learned. Passive learning feels effortless. Real learning feels inconvenient. That's how you know it's working. So, what can you do today that actually helps? The solution is way simpler. Teach what you learn. This is called the protege effect, and it's one of the most powerful and most ignored memory hacks available. Studies have shown that people who explain concepts to others retain almost 90% of what they learn, compared to about 30% for people who just read or listen passively. Wild, right? It works because teaching forces your brain to clarify, simplify, and organize information, turning fuzzy concepts into concrete knowledge. The best part? You don't even need an audience. Talk out loud to yourself, your pet, your houseplants, or even record a voice note explaining what you just learned. Sounds ridiculous. Who cares? No one's watching, and your memory will skyrocket. Start with something small. The next time you watch a video, read a chapter, or finish a podcast, pause and summarize the key ideas in your own words. Pretend you're explaining it to a friend over coffee. The weirder and more casual you make it, the more fun and sticky it becomes. You'll immediately feel the difference between "I kinda get it" and "I fully own this knowledge." When hustle culture hijacks your memory, let's talk about hustle culture, aka the toxic badge of honor that convinces you that if you're not crushing it 24/7, you're basically wasting your life. Sound familiar? Welcome to modern adulthood, where you're expected to have a thriving career, maintain 10 side hustles, meal prep organic quinoa bowls, hit 10,000 steps, stay hydrated, journal your feelings, meditate, and sleep 8 hours, all before your first Zoom call. Spoiler, it's not humanly possible. And your brain? It's waving a tiny white flag behind the scenes. Studies from the University of California, Berkeley show that chronic stress floods your body with cortisol, a hormone that directly damages the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory and learning. The more stressed you are, the more your memory short circuits. Can't remember names? Forgetting appointments? Reading the same paragraph 5 times? That's not bad luck. That's classic burnout brain. Culturally, we glorify busyness. We treat exhaustion like a flex. There's even a word for it now: toxic productivity. It tricks you into thinking that if you just optimize harder, buy another planner, or download one more focus app, you'll finally get it all under control. You won't. The game is rigged, and your memory is paying the price. Doing more actually makes you less productive. Sounds fake, right? But it's not. Neuroscience backs it up. Your brain has a limited capacity for working memory, the mental sticky notes you use to keep track of tasks, ideas, and priorities. Overload it, and it stops working properly. We assume hard work yields more success because that's the narrative we've been fed. But in reality, rested brains outperform burned-out brains every single time. The uncomfortable truth? You're not lazy. You're depleted. You've been running a marathon at sprint speed and wondering why you're collapsing. Also, multitasking doesn't make you efficient. It destroys your ability to remember and focus. Every time you switch between tasks, your brain experiences what researchers call attention residue, leftover cognitive junk from the previous task that clogs up your mental RAM. The result? You feel scattered, anxious, and stuck in a loop of half-finished projects. The reframe? Rest is productive. Doing nothing is a power move. It gives your brain space to consolidate memories, make connections, and recover. That calm, focused person you envy? They're not superhuman. They just know when to unplug. Here's the simplest and most underused way to fight burnout brain: intentional nothingness. I know, sounds ridiculous in a world where you can't even stand in line without checking your phone. But trust me, it works. It's called waking rest, and researchers have found that even short periods of quiet reflection, no screens, no music, no podcasts, no scrolling, drastically improve memory retention and cognitive clarity. The irony? The very thing that feels unproductive is what makes you sharper. Try this. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Sit somewhere comfortable. Don't meditate. Don't plan. Don't think about your next meeting. Just let your mind wander. Stare at the ceiling. Watch clouds. Listen to the sound of traffic or birds. It's boring. Yes, that's the point. Your brain craves boredom because it signals safety and gives your memory systems a chance to organize the chaos. Afterwards, you'll notice something wild: clarity, mental space. The fog lifts a little. You might even remember where you left your damn keys. Why doing it all is making you forget everything. Multitasking feels like a superpower until you realize it's secretly destroying your brain. I mean, who doesn't feel accomplished toggling between 15 browser tabs, replying to DMs, half listening to a podcast, and maybe even watching a Netflix show in the background? You feel productive. You're crushing it, right? Wrong. Studies from Stanford University show that heavy multitaskers perform worse on memory tasks than people who focus on one thing at a time. Multitasking isn't real. What you're actually doing is called task switching, and your brain absolutely hates it. Every time you switch focus, your brain has to stop, reset, and start over. That's like rebooting your phone every time you open a new app. Exhausting and wildly inefficient. The worst part? Apps are designed to keep you stuck in this loop. Every notification, buzz, and ping releases a tiny hit of dopamine, the same chemical that makes slot machines addictive. You keep checking, swiping, and refreshing, chasing that quick thrill. But in return, your attention span and memory slowly erode. Your brain turns into a chaotic browser with 47 tabs open, none of which you can remember why you opened in the first place. The more you multitask to get more done, the worse your memory and focus become. It feels efficient, but it's literally the opposite. Multitasking creates what cognitive scientists call attention residue, leftover mental clutter from the last task that slows you down and blocks new information from sticking. It's like trying to write a to-do list on a foggy window. Nothing sticks. Being busy doesn't equal being productive. We confuse activity with achievement. Hustle culture pushes the myth that successful people do it all. In reality, the highest performers ruthlessly eliminate distractions and focus deeply on one thing at a time. They don't brag about how many apps they use or how many notifications they get. They brag about results. Multitasking is not a skill, it's a trap. If you constantly feel forgetful, anxious, or scattered, it's not because your memory is broken. It's because your focus is fragmented across dozens of competing demands. Your brain isn't failing you, your environment is. When you let go of multitasking and give yourself permission to focus on just one thing, everything changes. Your work gets better, your stress levels drop, and yes, your memory finally catches a break. So how do you break free from the multitasking spiral? Start small. Do one thing at a time. I know, shocker. But you'd be amazed how alien that feels in today's world. The next time you sit down to work, turn off notifications. Close unnecessary tabs. Put your phone in another room. Choose one single task and stay with it until it's done. It will feel uncomfortable at first, almost like withdrawal. That's normal. Your brain has been wired for constant switching, but stick with it. Studies show that single tasking increases focus and memory retention and reduces stress dramatically. It trains your brain to engage deeply and stay engaged, a skill that's become almost extinct. Try this experiment. Pick the most important thing you need to do today and give it your full attention for 25 minutes. Yes, set a timer. No music, no background TV, no checking your phone, just for a second. Watch how your brain resists, and then how surprisingly good it feels to actually finish something without distractions. This tiny habit has a ripple effect. Over time, you'll notice tasks taking less time, feeling less exhausting, and sticking in your memory way better. Fewer tabs, less chaos, more clarity. Your brain will thank you. Maybe you're not forgetful. Maybe you're not bad at focusing. Maybe you're just exhausted from living in a world that demands you to be on 24/7. Your brain was never designed for this much input, this much stimulation, this much noise. It's not broken, it's overworked, and honestly, it's tired. You're allowed to slow down. You're allowed to focus on less, not more. You're allowed to unplug without feeling guilty. You don't need another app, another productivity hack, or another reminder to grind harder. You need permission to protect your attention like it's the most valuable resource you have, because it is. The paradox? When you do less, your brain actually gives you more. More clarity, more calm, more memory, more life. So take a breath, take your power back. Your memory and your sanity will thank you for it. If this hit you right in the "oh my god, that's me" spot, hit the like button, not out of obligation, but as a signal to yourself. I'm ready to reclaim my focus. And tell me in the comments, what's one habit you know is wrecking your memory but you keep doing it anyway? Let's be real, let's be honest. Let's figure this out together. I'll be reading every reply, and remember, you don't have to do it all. You just have to do one thing right now. Start there.